Welcome back to Power Conversations and Connections with Susan, where we talk life, the beauty and vulnerability on the journey to self-love and evolving into our best selves. Thank you for joining the conversation. And so we're going to get right into it because this is a topic that I know you will be able to join in with, agree with, have some reference for, right? I myself am a confessed strong black woman, right? But I've learned that it's a myth as to how it was previously defined. Strong black women, we can do everything. We take care of everyone. We take care of the kids, the house. We excel in the career. We stop at a moment's notice to take care of a friend. And, all along those things, we're always there for everyone. We are independent completely, that I don't need anybody. I could take care of myself, which you shouldn't need anybody to take care of you. But wanting to just always take care of yourself, or having the mentality, the mindset that you don't need anyone, that we don't need anyone, is where I say it's a lie that we've been told. It's a myth that we've been living, and it has stressed us the hell out. Mental health, we talk about it now. Well, we didn't talk about it back when it wasn't front and center. But most of our issues, not all of them, definitely don't assign and say, well, Susan said all of our issues that we have with mental health now is because, we were defined as strong black women. That's not what I'm saying. But if you don't look at it from the right perspective, you will miss the fact that some of what we're dealing with as black women is because of the myth of having to be a strong black woman. We saw our parents do it, and as a culture, we had to, right? We know that was the whole purpose of separating. Slavery, you separate the men from the women, you separate the brown-skinned women from the light-skinned women, from the dark-skinned women. We get it. That's how we grew up. That's how we were taught to be. But that doesn't make it right. Now that we know better, I'm asking you to do better, to drop the mantle that we have held, that as black women, we shouldn't be vulnerable. As black women, we shouldn't be empathetic toward other women. As black women, we don't need a man. What? You shouldn't need a man to take care of you, as in, if he doesn't feed you, you don't eat. Now that's wrong. You should be able to feed yourself, but to have the connection and the love and the care and the support and the, if I don't want to, there is someone else who will. That's a beautiful thing. And I think we discount how much that can benefit us because we are so far into our ownness. Well, I always have a story for you. Let me tell you a story. I was married 11 years. I always wanted to go into the military, but if I had gone into the military out of high school or shortly thereafter, I would have been like in military jail because I just had too much attitude, too much me. You wasn't telling me anything. I was that strong black woman who would give it to you, just like you was giving it to me. So it wasn't the thing for me. I got married. And about 29, I was married and decided, okay, I'm ready to go into the military. My husband supported me. I went into the military thinking that everything that I had been taken care of would still be taken care of in the manner that I did it, being gone out of the house. I didn't take into account that this strong black woman who didn't need nobody, who could do everything for herself and by herself, was taking care of all of the finances. This strong black woman was taking care of all of the consistency of connecting with relationships with family, because we were from two different cities and our family was all over the country and we were living in Pennsylvania. So no one was near us. I, being that strong black woman, didn't take into account that my husband agreed to support me in going into the military, but I didn't have any conversations with him about what that meant for him. So you see, if you don't recognize where you fit in that category of being a strong black woman, it can be self-destructive. So I went into the military. And it wasn't until 2 or 3 years later when I realized the impact of not having those conversations and not transferring things in a manner that made my husband feel like he was still the man of our household. I learned that those words of, if you don't take care of it, I'll do it myself, how detrimental that is. And I'm a black woman and I was married to a black man. So all I can say is how detrimental it was to that black man. And if you're a black woman, you know what I mean. We participate in the detriment, the lack of empowerment to our own black men, because we have been raised to be these strong black women. Well, it's time to put that mantle down if you haven't already, because it wrecked when we began to go through some things in our marriage. Instead of being who I am today, right? Instead of being who he needed me to be, instead of stepping outside of my smart black self, I revved it up. I was that girl, right? If you can't take care of it, I got it. And instead of supporting, I pushed. And when we were going through those till death do us part moments, those bad moments, those not happy moments, I did not do what I know now that I should have done and that I want to do going forward. I didn't build him up. I didn't tear him down. But in not building him up, you get my point, right? So that strong black woman that we keep holding on to, it can be detrimental to us in relationships. It's been good for us. Don't get me wrong. It's been good for us because our mothers had to and our aunties had to, and we saw them. And they gave us what we needed to push past barriers. They gave us what we needed to, in my words, go into spaces and command that I be paid attention to. They gave us what we needed. Being a strong black woman made me do what I needed to do and more, because I understand that I needed to just have a level footing. But we also have to look at the other side. We're moving into times where our children, our girls and our boys, our girls, they don't need that. They don't need to see that we are so invincible that they mimic what they see. Because at night we cry and we go into the closet and we go and we drink too much, or we hang out too much, or we do things outside of the house or outside of their presence that we know we don't want them to see, because we don't want them to see how vulnerable we are. It's not good. They need to see it. They need to know that we don't expect them to be strong all the time. Our girls need to know You, as a young person, need to know that I don't expect you to be right all the time. I don't expect you to be strong all the time. I don't need to walk around as someone who is a mentor and a coach and just simply being seen by other young dynamic black women as this perfect person. I don't want that. I don't want it for me, and I don't want it for you. We need to be authentic and tell our story and not be strong, because we're not always that. So why are we still pretending? Why are we still giving that image to our men? Why are we still saying that we don't need anyone? Well, let me raise my hand. I'll go first. I need a man in my life, in a personal relationship, in friendship circles. Can I take care of myself? Absolutely. Am I going to die or have a detrimental moment if I don't? I'm not. However, when I say need, I don't mean I need them to take care of me. I need them in my life. I need their influence. I need their love. I need their perspective. And yes, at the end of the day, I would love to abdicate it all, because I've learned I don't need to be the man, the woman, and everything else in a relationship. That's what we have them for. So if you're that woman who's saying or giving the impression that you always have to be strong in order to have a great life, you don't. Let me free you. You do not. You do not. Because it crosses all boundaries. If you think about it, in the workforce, if you are that strong black woman, we get enough of, if we have an opinion or we have a voice or we're in our career, we get enough of the other side of the table thinking that we're angry. We get enough of that in the workforce that we have to deal with. Why should we deal with that in our friendship circle and in our sister circles? Come down a little bit. Calm down a little bit. Ease up on, I got it all together. Be vulnerable with your girlfriends. In an episode, I talked about, the boundaries and the balance of friendship and reciprocity. And you have to be able to let go of some stuff. And being a strong black woman is one thing I strongly encourage you to let go. I didn't say put yourself in a position where you're not able to take care of yourself. I didn't say become somebody's, what is it? You have a sugar daddy, you become a sugar mama. I'm not saying become a sugar mama. I'm not saying abdicate your role so much so that you are utterly depending on someone else. But what I am going to challenge you to is listen to this term. It's what I tell my daughter that I want her to be. I want her to be independently dependent, which means she is independent enough to absolutely take care of herself, but dependent enough to know that she needs other people to contribute to that circle for her to be whole. Independently, she can drive the wheel. Dependently, she needs other people that she can be vulnerable with, that she can be empathetic with, who can help her, who can undergird her, who can support her, men and women. To be independently dependent and to not have to depend on a weekend of self-care or taking off or doing this or doing that just to get a break, like living break. You don't need a week off from work because you're stressed with all the demands of your strong woman life in order to have self-care. That should be a part of what you do. But if you are everything to you, when will you get the chance to do that? When will you get the chance to breathe if you're doing everything all the time? When will you get the chance to sit down on the carpet and laugh endlessly and play silly games with your son or your daughter just simply because? When are you going to be able to have the support of just laying down in somebody's arms and being taken care of? If you're always the one. So, let go of that. Learn to be independently dependent. Keep everything that you want to do for yourself. Make your own goals, strive for your own vision, but bring other people along for the ride. Keep other people in the pocket so that when you need to dip, you can go and you could still have a connection to your greater good. You can still have a connection to family. You can still have viable relationships. You can take the time to develop relationships. And if you're a woman who never wants, I didn't say anything about marriage. I didn't say you needed to be married or you wanted to have kids. Whatever your choice is your choice. Everything isn't for everyone. And I'm okay with that. I want you to be okay with that if that's your choice. But I'm speaking specifically to thinking that you always have to have it together all the time. And you always have to do everything for yourself all the time. Because I can do it. I don't need anybody. That might be cute at 40. It's less cute at 60. It's going to be even less cute at 80 when you are by yourself. And that's not what you desire to be. If it's what you desire to be, oh, it's game on. But if that's not what you wanted, and you spent all of those years perpetrating this strong black woman syndrome and running everybody away with how harsh you speak and not being able to give and not being able to forgive and not being able to let a man be a man and take a compliment and what then when you get to the end of the road, you will get exactly what you've trained yourself to get all of these years. I don't want that for you if that's not what you want for yourself. I want you to be whole. I want you to enjoy the evolution and the journey. And you cannot do that to the best of your ability if you are insistent on doing it all by yourself. Thank you for joining the conversation. I hope this has encouraged you to think differently about how you're striving, particularly as a black woman in this world. Do you want to do you and everybody can come along for the ride? Or do you want to only do it by yourself and run right into some brick walls that you might not be able to get around, over, or through? Let's enjoy life because it's for the living. Thank you again for joining the conversation. All across social media, subscribe, Susan R. Appleton, and we'll see you next time. Y'all be good.